You ever start a game just to check it out and suddenly it's 3 AM and you've unlocked half the map? Yeah, that's pure Metroidvania magic. Today we're diving into 40 of the best ones you can play on Nintendo Switch right now. Let's be honest, Hollow Knight isn't just a game, it's an obsession. You play as a tiny silent knight exploring the vast crumbling kingdom of Hallownest, equal parts eerie and heartbreakingly beautiful. Every corner hides something new, secret bosses, strange bugs with tragic backstories, and that one shortcut that makes you feel like a genius. The hand-drawn art and haunting soundtrack pull you in, but it's the challenge that keeps you hooked. It's tough, sure, but always fair. That perfect, just one more try loop that defines a great Metroidvania. 1 minute you're lost in ancient tunnels, the next you're in awe of a forgotten city bathed in blue light. If you haven't yet disappeared into Hallownest, you're missing one of gaming's finest adventures. If Hollow Knight is quiet and melancholy, Laika Age Through Blood is loud, raw, and ferociously alive. It's what the devs call a Motorvania, and yes, that means motorcycles. You play as a coyote warrior mom riding through a scorched wasteland, backflipping through bullets and blasting enemies midair with style to spare. The fluid animation makes every movement feel like choreography, while the moody, hand-painted world drips with personality. But under the speed and gunfire lies something deeper, a story about vengeance, love, and legacy. It's got grit, heart, and more emotional punch than you'd ever expect from a game where you can reload your shotgun upside down. Laika doesn't just reinvent the genre, it burns rubber straight through it. Then there's Bow, Path of the Teal Lotus, a mesmerizing Metroidvania that feels like a dream painted in watercolor. You play as Bow, a celestial flower spirit exploring a world inspired by Japanese folklore, filled with spirits, shrines, and soft pastel skies. The platforming has a rhythmic flow to it. Every jump and swing feels musical, like you're performing a dance through the heavens. New powers bloom naturally as you explore. Gliding pedals, spirit dashes, and elegant pogo-like strikes that open up new paths in creative ways. It's cozy and meditative, but still challenging enough to keep you locked in. If Ori and the Blind Forest met Spirited Away, this would be their love letter. Delicate, enchanting, and impossible to forget. If you've ever wondered what Metroid might look like through the eyes of a mad scientist, Axiom Verge is your answer. Created almost entirely by one person, this retro-styled masterpiece nails that sense of eerie isolation. You play as Trace, a scientist who wakes up in a glitchy alien world filled with strange tech and even stranger enemies. What makes it shine is how it toys with the idea of bugs. Literally, you can glitch the environment and enemies to your advantage, uncovering secret paths that feel like you're hacking the world itself. It's clever, mysterious, and packed with 8-bit atmosphere that'll make old-school players nostalgic in the best way. If you grew up on Super Metroid, this is the spiritual successor you didn't know you needed. Now let's crank up the adrenaline. Dead Cells takes the exploration of Metroidvanias and fuses it with roguelike chaos, and somehow it works perfectly. You play as a reanimated prisoner fighting through ever-changing biomes filled with traps, treasures, and enemies that'll humble you in seconds. Each run is different, but progress sticks, so you're constantly unlocking new weapons, abilities, and routes. The combat is lightning fast and ridiculously satisfying. Every roll, parry, and combo feels sharp, and even when you die, which you will a lot, the game just dares you to jump back in. It's stylish, endlessly replayable, and packed with content thanks to years of updates. Dead Cells is the definition of just one more run, and that's a dangerous thing. Sometimes, a Metroidvania doesn't need to be punishing, it just needs to be beautiful. Ori and the Blind Forest is a stunning, emotional adventure that blends tight platforming with heartfelt storytelling. You play as Ori, a small guardian spirit exploring a forest on the brink of decay, uncovering secrets and regrowing hope one ability at a time. Every movement feels fluid. Wall jumps, air dashes, and soaring glides combine into a graceful ballet of exploration. The world is lush and alive, painted in glowing blues and greens that make every frame screenshot worthy. And that music, it hits right in the soul. It's both cozy and heartbreaking, a reminder that sometimes the best journeys are the ones that make you feel. A must play, hands down. This one's pure Saturday morning cartoon joy. Disney Illusion Island takes Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy on a hand-animated co-op Metroidvania adventure that's as cozy as it is charming. Instead of combat, it focuses on platforming, puzzles, and teamwork, so it's perfect for playing with family or friends. Each character has the same core abilities, but the way they move and emote gives them tons of personality. The art style looks straight out of modern Disney shorts. Clean, colorful, and full of expressive animation. It's surprisingly zen too. No enemies to fight, just exploration, collectibles, and cute story moments. If you want something low stress but still packed with heart, Illusion Island is the comfort food of Metroidvanias. Sometimes cozy beats chaos. If you miss the colorful energy of 16-bit adventures, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom will feel like coming home. It's a spiritual successor to the Wonder Boy series, rebuilt from the ground up with hand-drawn art, smooth animation, and that classic but better vibe. The hook? You can transform into 6 different animal forms, each with unique abilities that help you explore new areas. From swimming as a frog to flying as a lion-bird hybrid, it's constantly refreshing itself. The world design is tight and rewarding, packed with secrets and puzzles that make you feel clever without ever being unfair. It's nostalgic, vibrant, and full of personality, a reminder that old school charm never really goes out of style. This one's pure joy on a cartridge. Now here's a twisty one. The Messenger starts off as a straight-up 8-bit ninja platformer, then halfway through, it morphs into a full-blown Metroidvania. That transformation alone is worth the price of admission. You play as a ninja tasked with delivering a sacred scroll, slicing through demons and diving across perilous cliffs, all while the game pokes fun at itself with hilarious writing. But when that shift hits, the world opens up, and suddenly you're time-traveling between 8-bit and 16-bit worlds, unlocking shortcuts and hunting collectibles. It's clever, funny, and fast-paced, like a love letter to retro gaming that refuses to stay predictable. Few games pull off a mid-game twist this bold. The Messenger doesn't just break expectations, it drop-kicks them in style. If Hollow Knight and Sekiro had a neon-lit sci-fi baby, it'd look a lot like Nine Souls. This hand-drawn Metroidvania from the creator of Detention and Devotion blends tight platforming with brutally satisfying parry-based combat. You play as Yi, a vengeful hero in a world that mixes cyberpunk tech with Taoist mysticism. Think glowing temples, robotic gods, and surreal landscapes. Every fight is a dance of timing and precision, where one bad parry can cost you everything. It's challenging, stylish, and surprisingly emotional, with lore that slowly peels back layers of a forgotten rebellion. If you like your Metroidvanias to push back hard, this one's a must. It's intense but deeply rewarding, like slaying demons in a digital fever dream. Blade Chimera is a stylish cyber-gothic Metroidvania that oozes atmosphere. You play as Shin, a demon hunter armed with Lux, a living shape-shifting sword that can manipulate time and space. One moment it's a weapon, the next it's a platform or a shield, letting you bend the world around you as you fight. The gameplay flows beautifully. Fast, flashy combat mixed with clever time-based traversal that keeps every encounter feeling fresh. The neon-drenched pixel art looks incredible. The music pulses with cyberpunk energy, and the story hits that perfect blend of mystery and attitude. It's dark, stylish, and endlessly satisfying. Like Castlevania got an upgrade from the future, Blade Chimera proves there's still plenty of room for creativity in the Metroidvania scene. Alwa's Legacy is one of those underrated gems that quietly steals your heart. It's a love letter to classic 8-bit adventures but with modern touches. Gorgeous pixel art, glowing effects, and a soundtrack that feels straight out of a 90s RPG dream. You play as Zoe, a young sorceress armed with magic instead of steel. Every spell you learn opens up new creative ways to explore, building platforms, zapping switches, or freezing water to craft your own path forward. It's less about brute strength and more about curiosity and clever thinking. Every hidden passage and secret room feels rewarding, like the game's cheering you on for exploring. It's cozy, smart, and filled with old-school charm. Alwa's Legacy is the kind of game that quietly reminds you why you fell in love with adventure games in the first place. Ever wish Metroid starred a cat? Gato Roboto delivers exactly that, and it's just as delightful as it sounds. You play as a fearless little cat piloting a mech suit after crash landing on an alien planet. The setup's simple, but the execution is pure charm. It nails that snappy Metroidvania loop. Explore, upgrade, backtrack, repeat. All wrapped in sleek black and white pixel art that somehow feels both retro and modern. You'll hop in and out of your mech to squeeze through vents, swim through dangerous zones, and discover hidden upgrades. It's short, tight, and perfectly tuned for players who love exploration but don't need a 40-hour epic. Think of it as Metroid if it stopped taking itself so seriously. Adorable, fast-paced, and full of just one more room energy. Worldless is one of those games that feels like poetry in motion. Its minimalist visuals and word-free storytelling make every discovery feel mysterious, like you're exploring a living painting. You play as a being of light navigating a world suspended between existence and nothingness. Yeah, it's deep, but don't let that scare you off. The real star here is the combat, a mix of turn-based strategy and real-time timing that somehow feels totally fresh for the genre. Each encounter feels like a puzzle where rhythm and precision matter as much as power. It's meditative, abstract, and quietly breathtaking. You don't just play Worldless, you drift through it, absorbing its atmosphere. For players who love thoughtful exploration and artistry, this one's pure soul food. Now here's a curveball, a Batman game that actually counts as a Metroidvania? Oh, absolutely. Arkham Asylum might be known for its combat and stealth, but under the cowl, it's pure exploration design. The entire Asylum acts like one big interconnected labyrinth, unlocking new areas as you earn gadgets, the Bat Claw, the Explosive Gel, all those classic tools. That structure makes every return trip feel fresh. One new gadget suddenly opens a dozen secrets you missed before. The atmosphere is dark and claustrophobic, but never overwhelming, and Kevin Conroy's legendary Batman voice ties it all together. It's cinematic yet classic in design, proving you don't need pixel art to nail the Metroidvania loop. Batman doesn't just fight crime, he backtracks through it in style. This one feels like a love letter to Symphony of the Night. Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth takes you into the shoes of Deedlit, the iconic elf from the Record of Lodoss War series, in a gorgeously animated 2D world. The combat is smooth and satisfying. Swordplay meets elemental magic in a way that feels fast but strategic. The real charm comes from the spirit swapping system. You can toggle between elemental spirits like Sylph and Salamander to solve puzzles and counter enemies, giving every battle a fun, rhythmic feel. Add in lush visuals and a soundtrack straight out of a classic fantasy anime, and it's pure nostalgia. It's not the longest Metroidvania, but it's elegant, refined, and honestly, the perfect comfort game for fans of the golden age of 2D adventures. Yoku's Island Express is what happens when you mix pinball mechanics with a Metroidvania, and somehow it totally works. You play as Yoku, a happy little dung beetle turned island postman, rolling around a sunny paradise delivering mail and uncovering secrets. Instead of jumping, you use flippers and bumpers built into the world to launch yourself around, uncovering new routes and unlocking shortcuts. It's charming, clever, and bursting with color. A rare Metroidvania that's more relaxing than stressful. The island's full of quirky characters, hidden caves, and delightful surprises that keep you smiling the whole way through. It's whimsical, inventive, and genuinely cozy. If you ever wanted Metroid to take a beach vacation, this is it. Islets is the kind of game that sneaks up on you. Soft visuals, chill music, and then bam, you're completely hooked. You play as a small warrior named Eco, flying between floating islands to reconnect them and restore a crumbling world. The catch? Every island is its own mini Metroidvania hub, and once you reconnect them, new routes open up in ways that feel genuinely magical. The tone is lighthearted and cozy, but the combat still has bite. Tight controls, challenging bosses, and rewarding upgrades. It's like Hollow Knight had a warm, hopeful younger sibling. The writing's funny, the world's heartfelt, and the atmosphere feels like a lazy summer afternoon turned adventure. A hidden gem through and through. The wait is finally over. Hollow Knight Silksong delivers everything fans hoped for and more. You play as Hornet, the fierce and agile protector of Hallownest, now exploring a vast new kingdom filled with vibrant landscapes, deadly foes, and haunting secrets. Where the original Hollow Knight was deliberate and weighty, Silksong feels faster and sharper, a graceful dance of precision and danger. Hornet's acrobatics make exploration thrilling, darting across arenas and scaling vertical spaces with effortless style. The world is brighter yet still dripping with atmosphere, and the soundtrack carries that same emotional, echoing beauty Team Cherry is known for. Every encounter feels handcrafted, every corner packed with lore. Silksong isn't just a sequel, it's a masterclass in how to evolve a modern classic. Here's a fun twist. What if you were the monster? Carrion flips the genre on its head by letting you play as an amorphous, tentacled creature rampaging through a lab, devouring everything in sight. Instead of growing stronger by defeating enemies, you grow by consuming them, unlocking new abilities that make you even more terrifying. The movement is smooth and strangely satisfying. Slithering through vents and dragging scientists into the dark never gets old. The eerie pixel art and unsettling sound design make it feel like a reverse horror movie. You're not running from the beast, you are the beast. It's short but brilliant, packed with that cathartic power fantasy you didn't know you needed. If you've ever wanted to terrorize a lab in glorious 2D, this one's your chance. Few reboots hit the balance between nostalgia and innovation like Blaster Master Zero. It revives the NES classic with gorgeous pixel art and smart modern touches, blending side-scrolling exploration with top-down shooter segments. You play as Jason and his trusty tank Sophia, diving through labyrinthine caverns filled with mutants, upgrades, and boss battles. What makes it stand out is the variety. One minute you're blasting through side-scrolling action, the next you're in tight overhead dungeons that test your precision. The music slaps, the pacing's tight, and every new weapon feels meaningful. It's old school fun done right. A perfect pick if you love that retro but refined vibe. And the best part? It sparked an entire trilogy that keeps getting better. If gothic pixel art and melancholy stories are your thing, Minoria is going to hit hard. From the creators of Momodora, it's a dark, haunting Metroidvania set during a witch-hunting war. You play as Sister Samila, a battle nun wielding both sword and sorcery, exploring cathedrals drenched in incense and tragedy. The combat feels crisp and deliberate. Every parry and spell carries weight, rewarding patience and timing over button mashing. The world design drips atmosphere, with stained glass lighting and a somber soundtrack that builds that Lost Sanctuary mood perfectly. It's elegant, sad, and beautifully crafted. A gothic fairy tale that feels like Castlevania wrapped in sorrow. Minoria doesn't shout, it lingers, and that's what makes it unforgettable. Don't let the NES-style visuals fool you. Astalon Tears of the Earth is one of the most creative modern retro games out there. You guide 3 heroes through a cursed tower, swapping between them on the fly to use their unique abilities: a knight, a rogue, and a mage. Each floor reveals new paths once you master how to combine their strengths. It's packed with secrets, upgrades, and smart level design that constantly rewards curiosity. And yes, you'll die a lot, but the game turns death itself into progression through its clever, packed with a demon mechanic. The pixel art is nostalgic perfection, and the soundtrack feels ripped straight from an early 90s cartridge. It's tough, imaginative, and quietly brilliant. A must-play for anyone who loves that classic challenge wrapped in modern design. You wouldn't expect a movie tie-in to be this good, but the Mummy Demastered defies all odds. Developed by WayForward, it's a slick, spooky Metroidvania that feels like Contra met Castlevania. You play as a special agent fighting undead horrors across crypts, catacombs, and ruined cities, all rendered in gorgeous 16-bit style. The real twist? When you die, your old body comes back as a zombie you have to hunt down to reclaim your gear. It's a brilliant risk-reward system that keeps every run tense. The gunplay feels tight, the bosses are massive, and the music nails that cinematic adventure vibe. It's one of those, wait, this is actually amazing surprises that makes you grin the whole way through. Hidden gem status absolutely confirmed. If beauty and sadness could fuse into a video game, it would look like Ender Lilies' Quietus of the Nights. You play as Lily, a mysterious priestess awakening in a world drowned in ruin and sorrow. Every area is a painting: gothic ruins, misty cathedrals, and silent battlefields haunted by fallen knights. Combat blends grace and power. Instead of fighting directly, Lily summons purified spirits of bosses she's defeated, turning tragedy into strength. The result is both poetic and thrilling. Every move feels like a small miracle. The music is hauntingly beautiful, the storytelling subtle, and the emotional weight hits hard without saying much at all. Ender Lilies is the kind of game that stays with you long after you set the controller down. This one's the Queen's Return. Metroid Dread brought Samus Aran back in full force. Faster, deadlier, and slicker than ever. It's a masterclass in modernizing classic design while keeping the essence of what made Metroid legendary. Set on the planet ZDR, you're hunted by unkillable EMMI robots that turn exploration into pure, heart-pounding tension. The controls are buttery smooth, the progression loop is flawless, and the boss fights? Some of the best in the series. Every new ability, from the Phantom Cloak to the Flash Shift, keeps exploration fresh and rewarding. It's challenging, cinematic, and endlessly satisfying to master. Dread isn't just a comeback, it's proof that Metroid still sets the gold standard for the genre it created. If you prefer your Metroidvanias drenched in religious horror and beautiful despair, Blasphemous delivers in spades. Set in the grotesque world of Custodia, you play as the Penitent One, a silent warrior on a grim pilgrimage to atone for his sins. Every inch of this world feels alive, or more accurately, cursed. The art direction is stunningly macabre, blending Spanish Catholic iconography with dark fantasy. Combat is weighty and deliberate, full of brutal finishers that make every swing count. But beneath the gore lies real artistry. The writing is poetic, the world building intricate, and the soundtrack hauntingly reverent. Blasphemous isn't just edgy, it's thoughtful, symbolic, and deeply memorable. For players who crave challenge with atmosphere, this is sacred ground. Iconoclasts is one of those games that looks lighthearted at first. Bright colors, expressive sprites, but beneath that cheery surface lies a surprisingly deep emotional story. You play as Robin, a mechanic with a wrench instead of a sword, fixing machines and fighting against a fanatical regime that fears technology. The gameplay mixes clever puzzles, fluid combat, and boss fights that feel straight out of a Saturday morning cartoon. But what really hits is the storytelling. It's heartfelt, funny, and unexpectedly heavy at times. It's a love letter to creative rebellion and compassion, wrapped in pixel-perfect charm. Iconoclasts doesn't just play great, it makes you care. It's the kind of game that reminds you why indie devs deserve to take big swings. This one's basically the OG indie Metroidvania, the game that proved a single developer could change the scene. Cave Story Plus may be simple by today's standards, but its heart, pacing, and sense of mystery are timeless. You play as Quote, an amnesiac robot who wakes up in a floating island full of adorable creatures called Mimigas, and then slowly uncovers a dark, emotional tale. The platforming feels precise, the weapon upgrades are addictive, and the soundtrack, absolute earworm territory. Every chiptune hit sticks with you for days. It's the perfect blend of action, charm, and melancholy. A true classic that paved the way for the modern indie boom. If you love Metroidvanias, this is your root showing, in the best possible way. This one's for the art lovers. 9 Years of Shadows is a visually stunning Metroidvania that feels like it's stepped out of a painting. You play as Europa, a warrior diving into a cursed castle where color has vanished from the world. The goal? Restore life, light, and emotion, one hue at a time. Combat and exploration revolve around elemental armors that change how you fight and move, giving every new area its own rhythm. The orchestral soundtrack, featuring guest composers from Mega Man and Castlevania, elevates the whole experience. It's heartfelt, empowering, and drop-dead gorgeous. Every swing, every melody, every moment feels handcrafted. 9 Years of Shadows isn't just a game. It's a piece of art that reminds you why beauty matters, even in darkness. If you're the kind of player who loves deciphering ancient riddles and uncovering secrets buried beneath secrets, La-Mulana 2 might just become your next obsession. This isn't a casual stroll, it's a full-blown archaeological puzzle box. You play as Lumisa Kasugi, exploring sprawling ruins teeming with traps, monsters, and cryptic clues that demand real brain power. It's brutally difficult, yes, but also deeply rewarding. Every discovery feels earned, like you just cracked some lost civilization's code. The pixel art is dense with detail, the music mysterious and tense, and the atmosphere nails that Indiana Jones meets dark fantasy vibe. La-Mulana 2 doesn't hold your hand, but that's what makes it magic. When you finally piece together its labyrinthine mysteries, you don't just feel smart, you feel enlightened. Few series have the charm and confidence of Shantae, and The Pirate's Curse is arguably her finest hour. You play as everyone's favorite half-genie hero, stripped of her magic, and teaming up with her old rival Risky Boots for a swashbuckling adventure across tropical islands. It's colorful, cheeky, and full of personality, with tight platforming, clever puzzles, and combat that feels smooth as silk. Every new item you collect, from a scimitar dash to a pirate cannon jump, expands your mobility in classic Metroidvania fashion. The writing sparkles with humor, the animation is buttery smooth, and the music? Absolute banger material. It's the kind of game that keeps you grinning the entire time you're playing. Pure, joyful energy from start to finish. When Prince of Persia returned, nobody expected it to go full Metroidvania, but wow, what a comeback. The Lost Crown blends fast, fluid combat with precision platforming and a surprisingly deep exploration system. You play as Sargon, a warrior manipulating time and space through beautifully designed zones packed with secrets. It's stylish, responsive, and bursting with kinetic energy. Wall running, time dashing, and chaining combos feels unbelievably smooth. The semi-open world design hits that sweet spot between free freedom and focus, encouraging backtracking without ever feeling bloated. Visually, it's a feast. Crisp animation, bold colors, and a sense of scale that feels epic. Ubisoft nailed it. The Lost Crown doesn't just revive a classic, it redefines it for a new generation.
I will fulfill my destiny and save the kingdom.
Animal Well might look cute and pixely at first glance, but don't be fooled. This is one of the most mysterious, mind-bending Metroidvanias in years. You explore a surreal underground world packed with secrets, strange creatures, and environmental puzzles that'll make your brain light up like a neon sign. There's no combat, no dialogue, just you, your curiosity, and a world that quietly reacts to everything you do. Every discovery feels like uncovering a hidden language. The lighting, the sound design, even the way shadows move, it's all intentional, all layered. It's cozy and eerie at the same time. The kind of game that makes you whisper, "What is this place?" at 2 a.m. Animal Well rewards patience, curiosity, and wonder. And that's rare magic. If you like your Metroidvanias emotional and strategic, UNSIGHTED is a gem you can't miss. Set in a post-apocalyptic world where robots have lost their humanity, you play as Alma, a warrior racing against time to save her friends before they lose their consciousness forever. The catch? Every character, even NPCs, has a timer ticking down, and once it hits 0, they're gone for good. It adds this subtle tension that makes every choice matter without ever feeling gimmicky. Combat is fast, flexible, and skill-based with a crafting system that lets you customize your build your way. It's packed with heart, urgency, and tough decisions, the kind that actually make you pause before moving on. UNSIGHTED is intense, beautiful, and quietly heartbreaking, a true unsung masterpiece. If Ori and the Blind Forest was about beauty and emotion, Will of the Wisps is about evolution and mastery. It takes everything the first game did well, the art, the movement, the music, and amplifies it into something breathtaking. You play as Ori again, exploring vast biomes filled with luminous creatures, breathtaking vistas, and heart-wrenching moments. The platforming feels smoother, the combat more dynamic, and the world even richer in secrets. The visual detail alone could make your Switch melt, in a good way. And the soundtrack, good luck not tearing up during the quieter moments. It's not just one of the best Metroidvanias on Switch, it's one of the best games, period. Every frame feels alive with care, beauty, and emotion. Pure art in motion. Owlboy is one of those games that just feels special. You play as Otis, a small mute owl boy trying to prove himself in a floating sky kingdom, and the result is a Metroidvania that's equal parts adventure and heart. The pixel art is jaw-droppingly beautiful, every frame packed with detail and color. The gameplay mixes flight-based exploration with light combat and puzzle solving, letting you carry companions who each add new abilities, from gunners to grapplers. But what really makes Owlboy stand out is its emotional core. It's a coming-of-age story wrapped in gorgeous, sky-high exploration. It's heartfelt, cinematic, and bursting with personality. If you want a game that feels like a bedtime story you can play, Owlboy belongs on your must-play list. If you've been craving a Castlevania Symphony of the Night vibe with a sci-fi twist, Time Spinner is pure bliss. You play as Lunias, a time mage out for revenge after her family is murdered, and her power to freeze time turns every encounter into a stylish dance of strategy. You'll explore 2 timelines of the same world, uncovering secrets that link past and present, with music that feels straight out of a lost SNES classic. The pixel art is lush, the story surprisingly emotional, and the gameplay perfectly tuned. It nails that classic but modern feel that so many games chase. Every ability you earn feels meaningful, and every area begs to be revisited. If Chrono Trigger and Symphony of the Night had a baby, this would be it. Narita Boy is what happens when neon nostalgia meets digital mythology. You play as a pixelated hero sucked into a computer world known as the Digital Kingdom, a sprawling, glowing realm full of sword-swinging combat, synthwave music, and pure 80s flair. The art direction is jaw-dropping. Every screen feels like an animated VHS cover come to life. The gameplay mixes classic Metroidvania exploration with cinematic storytelling, packed with emotional lore about memory, creation, and identity. It's stylish, surreal, and surprisingly heartfelt. The combat flows like rhythm, the story keeps twisting, and the world just oozes personality. Narita Boy isn't just a trip down nostalgia lane, it's a love song to the era that birthed the genre itself. Few games capture that feeling of constant discovery quite like SteamWorld Dig 2. You play as Dorothy, a Steambot adventurer digging deep beneath a desert town in search of her lost friend. What begins as a simple mining trip quickly becomes a layered, treasure-stuffed adventure full of secrets, upgrades, and clever puzzles. Every swing of the pickaxe uncovers something new: hidden paths, long-lost relics, or strange subterranean biomes glowing with steampunk charm. The movement is buttery smooth, the upgrades come at a perfect pace, and the level design rewards every bit of curiosity. It's equal parts cozy and adventurous, like Spelunky meets Metroid, but with heart. SteamWorld Dig 2 is one of those just one more dig games that quietly becomes an all-time favorite before you even realize it. And that's a wrap on some of the best Metroidvania adventures you can play on Switch. From heartfelt journeys to wild action, there's a world here for every mood. Which one's calling your name? Drop a comment and don't forget to subscribe for more hidden gems.